Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. You know who I've got here? Truth Bomb Tony, because a lot of you are saying, where's Truth Bomb Tony? And I apologize. We've had lots of conferences. We've had lots going on. Last time I spoke to Tony, it was in September where he did the 4 pillars. His 4 stocks, which were Maronan Metals, Red Metal, Saturn, and Orman. I'll talk to him about that in a minute. And also, since I last spoke to Tony, not only has the gold price, it went on a tear, it's pulled back a little bit. I am not worried at all, so I don't want any of you to be worried. Gold will do what it always does, which is protect your purchasing power. And that's why I like gold. However, the gold stocks, I believe, a couple of them have done very, very well. We'll talk about those. But there are some that are yet to play catch up. And I know Tony doesn't like to even talk about it, but the BTC, the Bitcoin, boy, has it rallied off the back of the Trump election win just last week. And I think it was about a couple of weeks ago, it was about 90,000 Aussie. It's about 125 and still going strong. And some pundits are saying that Bitcoin will get to 1 million because Trump's going to be doing all sorts of things with buying up 1 million Bitcoin to shore up the balance sheet of the US economy. Not sure if it's going to do that, but let's talk to Tony and find out what he's thinking. I know he's pumped for 2025 as we're in November 24. Tony, good to have you back as always, my friend.
Absolutely, Kerry. It has been a while, September, but yeah, it has been busy. And I believe in my universe, we're 6 weeks into a new bull market.
Oh.
After 3 years of a tough 3 years. But what I've been saying to my best clients is, because they've got the balls to buy and they don't make me feel like an idiot, is that we've accumulated so much cheap leverage that 2025, I feel it'll be one of my biggest years in my career.
Wow.
Based on the fact that these stocks only have to get to a third of what their true value is, and it's game on. And one of the advantages of cheap leverage is that companies, to raise money, because the market's been so shit, have had to offer lots of options.
Ladies, technical term.
Lots of options, unlisted, listed, and we're going to have a market where some of these options are going to be in the money because greed's back, baby. Greed is back. Complacency's back, because I know my clients that are active are starting to lose respect for money.
Oh, again. What do you mean? Now, I've got 2 questions before you go on. You just said a moment ago, we're 6 weeks into the bull market. What, because I think I spoke to you about 7 weeks ago. Maybe even 6, but, mid-September. What was the catalyst to make you say it was 6 weeks ago that the bull market started? Why
something just flicked. It's like flicking a bloody switch. Suddenly things felt better. We start to have a few little runners. Clients, there was opportunities there to start to move some capital around. I picked a little stock, Bella Vista, which I caught at a conference, Explorers, last year, and I thought, wow, this looks like a good management play. It was about 9.8 cents, and it's run to 50 on absolutely nothing.
Oh, jeez. Thanks for the tip, buddy.
Oh, well.
Melbourne Cup.
Were you there? Were you? Oh, my horse gave a great sight. It came fourth, 100 meters out. I thought we were home.
Well, did any of us not? Well, I certainly didn't. Cameron Bain from Mincor, who I know well, beautiful man. He bought Kaiser, I think what was it? Knights. What was the name of the horse?
Knight's Choice.
Knight's Choice. He bought that horse for 85 grand. And it came in at one point, it was 100 to 1, but couldn't have happened to a nicer human being. And I was just in Melbourne, and Cam bought the cup to the London Metals Exchange dinner down under. Thank you, Christine Coonan. That was an awesome night. Lots of pickies from that. But how do you pick them? You can't pick the Melbourne Cup winner. How do you pick things like Bella Vista from 9.8 to 50 cents?
Well, I just looked at the register, and it was only mentioned a couple of times, but that was one. Put a few clients into Spartan,
Oh yeah.
11 and a half. I said it feels like another Dominion. I go back to Dominion. It was trading at 28 cents, had a plant, had a heap of cash, and probably had tax losses like a packet of Tim Tams that didn't run out. And that ended up going 28 cents to $6.79. But it pulled back all the way. The market depth looked atrocious. And it was great to catch up with Simon Lawson last week at a Reed corporate lunch in Fraser's. Beautiful. And what a success story. I didn't harness it. It's funny that sometimes the most obvious multi-baggers are staring you in the face. And I looked at it, I thought, well, is there a catch here? But it only takes a couple of stocks. Oryaman has recovered from 1.9. It's touched 7 today. Again, a bit of a recovery. Saturn's doubled. Maroon and red metal have lots of potential. And I look at what they have, and you can say, well, these are undervalued, and it's only a matter of time. It's just sometimes the quality gets left behind because Maronan is a boring development story where they'll just go through all the stages to build a mine. And unfortunately, what could happen is they'll just get taken out before they have a chance to get into production. But since assets are so cheap, any of the majors would be crazy not to look at some of these juniors that have the resources and the opportunities there. But takeovers are an ego thing because mine's always bigger than yours, and a lot of the takeovers tend to happen at the top of the market. So look, it's really exciting. As I said, 6 weeks ago, a few things changed. It feels much better. I feel like a real stockbroker again because I've been actually doing some volume. My phone's ringing. But what I find really interesting is that clients struggle to tweak their mentality. It's like, well, in this market, you'd kill for 50% up, but when there's 4 or 5 bags, they want the 10 bagger, and they've still got that. I wouldn't call it greed. I mean, they don't want the mansion and the McLaren. They just don't like selling early. And I think you need to accept that a 4 to 5 bagger, it's a hard fought one, sell all the way up and have what I call effective use of capital.
Okay.
Keep it moving, move into something else, be patient with some of them. We've got some stocks that are coming into drug trials that have been slaughtered, but it's all part of the Muppet show, as I like to call it.
It's an effective use of capital. And it's interesting because one of the things, I've done a lot of interviews with resource companies on here, but what I really want to do is this is making money matter. So it's not just resources. And you mentioned potentially biotech, which has been massively hit. But before, let's just finish off on resources if we could for a moment, because the last time I spoke to you, some of the commentary was one person said, next time you jump on, Tony, can you share your thoughts on Triangle Energy? It's an oil and gas play, but it's kind of resources. What's your thoughts on that? Because I think they had a duster, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. 20% chance of success, 80% chance of failure. They drilled in record time, no hydrocarbons. Would have gone a long way to paying off a lot of my clients' mortgages. But it didn't happen. So life goes on. The stock got sold down, I think at one point, almost below cash backing. He's managed to get rid of Cliffhead. He's got some money.
Hey.
They're going to have a handy cash balance. I know Conrad Todd came out of retirement, not for a lifestyle company. He wants to build a serious oil and gas company. Yeah. But along the way, when you see COS, it doesn't stand for crock of shit. It stands for chance of success. But 20% chance of success means 80% chance of failure. So some clients that had a few shares had a 20% chance of being able to afford $100,000, $200,000 or pay off their bloody mortgage. So I can't hide the odds. I wish there was hydrocarbons there. It would have elevated my financial position, but we move on. There's a well in March. I like Conrad. He copped a lot of shit on forums, but a shareholder's anger is only relative to their entry price. And I was talking to easily my best client who keeps me going. And he said, well, if I only get half, 3/4, or get my money back, it's still a good result because I knew the risk.
Right.
And what shareholders care about too much is the break-even sale. It's like if you own 20 stocks, not every team member is going to win the Brownlow. You're going to have some stocks where you know the risk reward is it might pay off your mortgage, it might help you you might be able to go shopping with no abandon. It's like throw meat in the trolley without thinking about it. But clients know the odds. And the odds of high risk exploration are stacked against us.
Yeah.
It would have been like me saying, oh, if I put 10 grand on Knight's Choice, I'd win $1 million. But all the experts were raving about every other horse. And I read comments that it was given no chance and it could add 0 to its odds. But you've got to be in it. And looking at discoveries in hindsight doesn't pay your energy bill. So
That's true.
but that's it. I like Triangle Energy. You can pick it up for 0.6, 0.7%. We are around cash backing. He's got rid of that cliff edge to Pilot Energy. He's got some money from that. That was a major burden for Triangle due to the liability. And now I'm backing him to hopefully drill the Because well. That'll be about March. Thereafter, about 5 million barrels of oil. Chance of failure is 80%. You either take the punt or you don't. And if you're not willing to accept that level of risk, well, stay out of the bloody market.
Yeah.
That's my answer
Go
to
and buy
that.
yourself a bank stock.
Yeah, but I think now with the way bank stocks have run, it's just been all the money's flowed there, and now they're trading like growth stocks, and you could easily lose 20-30% on a blue chip stock in search of yield. So each to their own. I'm a speculator. I don't deal in blue chips. Frankly, they bore me. Everyone else covers them. I just like to have a crack, and it's all about my contrarian or underdog mentality, which I love. And this is the exciting end. And I look after this side for clients that can take a risk.
Yeah.
A lot of them have property investments, have jobs, and I'm here to create lotto dreams with much better odds, as we like to call it.
I love it. I love it. The Paterson Province, is that on your radar at all? Somebody was asking that question. That's, I think, where the nifty copper mine is, I think.
Well, you've got to look at someone like Antipa that's gone from 0.91 cent at one point over 3 in no time. They've got that gold resource, which someone might find compelling. Red Metal pegged a lot of the best ground in the Paterson Province surrounding Winu, but he still hasn't been able to get clearance to drill. And they were an early mover to the Paterson. So keep an eye out for if Red Metal gets a clearance to drill. And apart from that, being on fundamentals, easily arguably the most undervalued junior resource stock on the market. They've just raised money at 10. Share purchase plan. They got 6 million in. I'm actually disappointed that more selling hasn't happened because clients were able to sell at 13. Hopefully we can buy it back for 10.5, 11. We just got to be patient on that.
Yeah.
And there are ways throughout your career where you can arbitrage, where you can sell something higher and take the punt that you get the stock back. And in this SPP, it worked beautifully. And I mean, you can be as loyal as you like, but we are long-term supporters of that company, and my clients, if they can pay for some free leverage elsewhere or get them more shares, I'm going to do it. And that's my role, to have a strategy. And you have to have a strategy. You just can't buy a portfolio and stick your head in the sand.
Yeah, well, that's where I went wrong before you and I started talking. All right. In the interest of time, I want to make sure that we cover the biotech stocks. As I said before,
Yep.
I love resources. I'm that gold lady. And by the way, speaking of gold, Gold Coast Gold, we're doing it, ladies and gentlemen, 13th and 14th of March next year, Gold Coast Gold on the Gold Coast. So if you want to get involved, make sure you reach out to me. There'll be lots of things happening, including, no, I can't say it quite yet, but we're going to have a couple of surprises in March next year up here on the Gold Coast at QT. But let's go into biotech. What's going on in biotech? Why are you pumped up about biotech at the moment? Because it has been smasheroonied in 24.
Oh, it's been the Muppet Show. And companies have done nothing wrong. They've got good drugs. It's just they got on that S-band, and you have to raise money well, clinical trials aren't cheap. I mean, you just don't set up a GoFundMe to fund them. And they've been forced to raise capital at lower prices. I look at a little stock called Radiopharm. So far, this has been the biggest loss I've ever taken on a stock through, a crappy market. But I've bought myself a position now where I'm hoping to make that money back, because it's a hot area of the market. They've got Lantheus supporting them. They took shares at 5 cents with half an oppie. The shares are trading at 2.4 cents.
Wow.
The fundamentals are still there. But again, they just did a placement at 4 cents to the public and in sophisticated, and it's being sold off. The stock and options get sold off. So whoever's selling it is taking a loss, but I'm happy to sit back with clients and buy 100% on the back foot, knowing that the fundamentals remain.
Just remind me what Radiopharm do again.
They're into radiopharmaceuticals. They do have drugs. One's for, I believe, prostate cancer. They have other drugs for gastric, colorectal, and they have imaging for pancreatic cancer as well, and also images to show that detect the spread of cancer as well.
Okay.
So very interesting. Research reports keep coming out with valuations between 28 cents and 40 cents. And they're trading at 2.4. No one's going to believe these research reports at all.
No.
And well, they're not going to. But it's been a shit show. I'm sure that shareholders have pretty much given up on them. But if you've got fundamentals, I think it's a chance to multiply from here. So yeah, we've been buying it totally on the back foot. And the selling has been relentless, which is great. You're always going to get the heaviest volume towards the bottom.
Yeah.
And again, what we're hoping is that traders come in, and then we've got an exit. But the liquidity certainly is great. I've just raised a little bit of money for Narada at 12 cents. They're trading at 11. Yeah, it's a bit of a slap to clients that took that up, but their brain injury drug is showing excellent signs at cardioprotection, and that should get into the clinic before the end of this year. The company obviously had delays in the past, but this drug, who knows what it could do? And initially, it's going to be the safety side of it with some efficacy to see if it works. And I've seen other companies like Agenica do exceptionally well on a brain injury drug. So we're there, and we're having a crack. Probably one that I think would be the most hated stock on the likes of Hot Copper would be, which is, that's a big award.
Yeah.
You've got to really excel to get hated. And oh my God, that if you want to meet the paranoid I'd go to hot copper. It's a riot. And but Chimeric, great drugs, did a raising that very, very cheap. It was, and it's probably one of the most polarizing capital raises I've ever seen in my career.
Why?
But they did it. Well, it's too cheap. It was too cheap. Shareholders didn't get a full look in. But after speaking with Rebecca McWalter, I can tell you she's going to be a rising star in the biotech industry. Just follow what she's doing.
What
Young
is she the boss at Chimeric now?
Chimeric, yeah.
Okay. What's her background?
She was she worked for Novartis. She's right into everything. Puts plenty of information out on LinkedIn. Other people I've spoken to who I highly regard in the biotech industry think she's an absolute gun, and I can second that. And hopefully I'll be able to catch up with her soon in Melbourne, because I'm going to Pearl Jam next week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the buggers didn't come to Perth. I mean, like.
So if, for those of you that don't know, he is an absolute Pearl Jam tragic. So Jam are not going to Perth. He will go to where Pearl Jam are. So
I'm going to a concert. I'll catch up with clients. Yeah, I don't mind Melbourne. It's got a good vibe.
Yep.
But
are you going to meet with a few clients there?
Yeah. I'm putting on drinks. Hopefully they might even shout me a sparkling mineral water. I'm coming up to 2 years without a drink, and I feel great, Kerry. It's one of the best things I've ever done is give up poison, where I can be 100% focused throughout the trading day and not act like a babbling teenager like I watch others do.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, keep up the clean living. Get ready for 2025, the year of. Oh, look, when the ducks are quacking, we're going to feed them. We've got that much cheap stock. It's our time. You know, I've been down for a few years. You're not going to keep me down. I'm absolutely pumped. So bring it on.
Well, I know that you recently did a little piece on Stockhead about Talisman Mining, which is Kerry Harmanis. Now, for those of you that don't know, Kerry Harmanis took a small cap company and turned it into, I think he sold it for something like 3 billion back in the day. And as Tony has said, you know, he's not a lifestyle director. He's not coming back for the fun of it. He thinks he's got something. Just give us a quick wrap up on why you like Talisman so much.
They've got a 1% royalty on a MinRes iron ore mine, which could run for another 4 years. It has provided them 1 year. I think they got $8.5 million from it. So you're going to have that self-funded exploration. And they've got some big projects in New South Wales that they're exploring. They're chasing Acadia style target. They're chasing elephants. I think, you know, as long as we've got that royalty, Kerry Harmanis owns 36 million shares, and he keeps buying. And he pulled me aside at Nick Reed's conference and said, you know, I like you. You're a bit like me. I don't have to tell you to buy my stock. And I thought, well, I'm going to have a crack at that stock. And it's funny, when I was a cop in Sydney, Jubilee Street, Lewisham, actually got me interested in Jubilee. So I wrote the world's worst research report on them at 17 cents. And I think they ended up going for about $22.
Unbelievable.
In the end, and he said, well, it was my meditation, my lifestyle, my clean living. And at 3.1 billion, he sold it. He's not short of $1. I think the rich list said he's got over 700 million. You know, it's a bit like that Adrian Portelli dude that bought all the houses off the block last night. I mean, come on, seriously. That's when you just got far too much money. And
far too much money. Rig the thing. Make sure the girls get a little bit of something. I didn't watch it. I just read the news afterwards, but. All right, Talisman Mining code is TL.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. 22 cents. They've also got a big project in South Australia in the Gawler Craton. Odds are there's nothing there, but you never know unless you have a crack. I like Andrew Monkton. I've had a bit to do with him through his previous
guy.
companies. So to me, that could be the fifth pillar.
Okay. All right. Tony Lecantro, fifth pillar. Always good to chat to you.
Yep.
And we'll make sure that we get you on before Christmas. Can you believe it? The Christmas trees are all up. People are buying presents and going a bit crazy. I'm just like, oh my goodness me. And my son got engaged, so I'm going to be going down to meet his new in-laws for Christmas this year, out of the Gold Coast and down into Narooma.
Narooma. Well, I think the best thing I did, I just got a total present ban. No stress. We'll just have a nice meal. That's it. There's no need to do anything else. I mean, I'd rather buy nothing than buy something that she didn't like.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Well, it's going to be a fun end to the year. Tony Lecantro, always good to chat to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know the dates for our gold events in 2025, it is March 13, 14 up here on the Gold Coast Gold. And then we will be back in Sydney in October from the 13th to the 15th of October. Where is gold going to be at that time? I have no idea, but I will say this. I believe that the gold price is run and the equities are yet to play catch up. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, share it with others, help me grow this channel. But for now, we'll talk to you later. Thanks, Tony.